going to learn how to do some quick and easy kind of bas relief embossing type of effects for architectural details on your Greek gods or mythology project. Similar to what you see here, how I've embossed this cameo. Easily could go on a Greek thingy. Also in Cinnamon 4D, we can do it on blocks. I kind of just quickly did it on that one, but I want to show you how to create these. So I'll open the server mistake. Let me close that. All right, so how do we do that? Well, we're going to need to have a cube or cylinder for the Aztec thingy, so we'll do it on this one first. Since we're in Cinema 4D, and I'll paste it in, and we'll get rid of the materials so that they're just as they were. So here we have like a block like I showed you how to make on another lesson, and I made a cylinder here for an Aztec calendar. All you have to do is make a material, and you need to find on the internets like good res pictures of these things. And you can make a bump map with them if you have that file, and you can create a grayscale version of it like with Photoshop or another software that lets you take out the color. But bottom line is you don't need the color version. What you do need is a grayscale version of something, black and white, okay? And you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be something like that. Like I turned a cameo, like a piece of jewelry, into like a Greek thingy. It just has to be like, let's all open these things up, like a black and white pattern. So there's the cameo that I used on the ZBrush. There's a Greek little wavy pattern. You can do, you know, gaming stuff. Here's the Aztec calendar. It's not the best one. Aztec serpent thingy, I don't know what that is, but this cameo would be more cut glyphs, like Aztec and Mayan glyphs and stuff. So those types of things. I have like a fleur-de-lis, you know, symbolic stuff that's black and white. All right, with Cinema, you just need to create a material. So you know, you might have to get on the internet and look for free stone texture. Oops, I didn't type it in. I don't know, what kind of stone, marble or something. Let's see what it finds. I don't want brick. I just want a rocky texture. This is finding brick. We'll put a rock. It's not finding anything that I like. I don't want anything like crunchy and scrunchy and already full of bumps. Maybe we'll do marble. Oops, I spelled marble wrong. That's kind of cool. We'll take that. Ta-da. All right, I prefer a lighter one, to be honest, though. I want a white one. I'm looking for like a creamy one. This one has a light on it. I know. This one's a sphere already, so That might do. I guess I could take that. I don't really like the big crack on it, but I don't want to screw around forever. I will just use those. All right, and so we make our texture, and for color, we go get, you know, whatever we just downloaded. It should be on my desktop. Oh, that's a WebP file. That won't work, but the JPEGs will, so we'll use those. And, you know, you can put reflectance or not, doesn't matter. On the bump map, you want to go get the black and white file that you grabbed. I don't really recall if Cinema 4D uses Photoshop files now. Let's see. I know it uses yeah, I guess it does. Okay, so drag it on there. It's going on all directions. And what you can do to avoid this is to do a set selection. Let me do that. So we'll go to our polygons and we'll just swoop around this area here, and then go to set selection. Name it something easy to recall, and then tell the material tag to go on the name right here of what you gave it. So if you forgot, then double click on your, this is your tag, that's your selection tag. You can go back to it anytime and edit it. You just, you know, if you had to add or subtract the polygons, you just go set selection again and replace it. So, you know, for instance, if, like I got some of these top ones, I could go to, you know, get rid of those. And maybe some of these side ones. And then just go set selection again and it'll update this selection. And then you tell your, you have to name it right here where it says name, and then you tell your selection to go to that name right there. And then it will go to that name, but it's a little big. You got to tell it how to go on there with projection, so we'll try cubic. Cubic, it's tiling in there, but you have a tool that we haven't really covered yet, but it's called the texture tool, and it treats textures like shapes, so you can kind of like scale it up. This shape doesn't really lend itself to the roundness of the embossing, but you could go to the texture itself and, you know, bring up the strength, and you'll get like, you know, a pretty cool embossing on it. You can try different methods of putting it on there too. What's the sampling? Try square. And then that's it basically. Good for quick, easy detail and stuff like that. So on the snake one here, you know, it has the grayscale version goes on the bump map, and then on the on the color version, I also put the same one, but I could have easily gone to get a you know, a colored tile or something. Oops. So let's get something. Try that marble. If you have the picture, it just kind of lends itself to it. But you know, sometimes it's hard. I'm going negative here, so I'm going to go positive. And you know, it'll look a little crunchier without the picture. I guess I'll put it on the block here. Oops, that's the wrong one. And we'll tell that to go to 1, 2, 3. And then we'll have to take our texture tool and tell it to go over here. Instead of being spherical, we'll tell it to be cubic. And then we'll use our texture tool to scale up that texture. You can also stretch it out to fit. It just basically treats the texture like a shape. But you have to tell like what kind of shape it's going to be is done on the texture tag where it says projection. And you usually want to pick the most logical one that'll fit the shape that you're working with. If you don't do a set selection, it'll go on every single side. And it doesn't really, you know, pop out that much. It kind of, if you look at it, it gets like shadows and highlights and stuff like that. So it kind of treats the texture with, see how it gets like shadows and highlights? So it's there, and I'll show you how to pop it out a little bit more. As far as the rest of this goes, like, well, what would I do for the rest of the texture? You can just make another one, and just go get that same, you know, marble, or if you can get multiple pieces of it, then great. And then put that onto the rest of the block. You'll have to move the tag to the front so it doesn't interrupt, and then and then maybe put that on cubic as well. Okay, it's tiling it in there weirdly, so I might just like try to scale up the texture on that one as well so that it doesn't tile in there weird. So now I have like the same material, just minus the bump map. Okay, now here's where you can take the whole thing and just convert it into a polygon. Right now it already is, so you can just click on the button here, go to mesh, conversion, make editable. But you go to your sculptor thingy, and subdivide it a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 tops. And then you want to get like maybe like a small inflate brush. This has brushes down here. I don't know why mine's not showing, but it might be a memory issue right now. I'll try to take it down a notch. And then you want to be on your points tool. Increase it a little bit. And using your black arrow, we'll go to it's not letting me. There we go. Don't be on your points tool, be on your model line tool. Sorry. My bad. And then I can kind of just like snake out that a little bit more. I mean, this was not a clean graphic, so it's getting a lot of like crunchy stuff. It looks very weathered. But, you know, if I was doing ruins, and it's not the most perfect method. It's just like for quick, easy ones, you know. All right. So then when you're done, you just go back to like standard mode. You get a sculpting tag on there. You know, usually what I do is I just take the whole thing and go conversion, and you can bake it as it's called, but I don't know, it generates too much memory. I would just go to conversion current state to object, and then you'll have a little version of it. Delete the one with the sculpting tag. And then that one has even more, like crunchy embossing on it. Just, you can kind of see where I snaked it out a little bit more. So, sculpt. Oops, let me go back. Standard. On, undo. All right, go back to sculpt. This being modeling mode, and it has to be a poly mesh. You got to subdivide it, not too many times. You can take it down if you did too much. Pole. Pole has a brush and a pressure that you can, fart around with. And then you just go in there and try to like accentuate the areas that you can fiddle with. You also got to smooth, and so, if I wanted to make this like worn down, I could try to make it look a little bit more worn in some areas. The sculpting part in this one isn't all that. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry. All that great. It's kind of like, but I doubt they'll even keep this around. Now that they own ZBrush. Anyhow, go back to standard. We just got to work with the tools that we have right now, and then there you go. As far as the Aztec calendar goes, you can put this on cylindrical. I don't really work out. Let's try cubic. Sculpting tool. Scale it up. It's upside down. Okay, and then back to the modeling tool, and just take that and go to sculpt, subdivide, pull or grab. You can zoom in on it. Keep trying to do my ZBrush shortcuts. And then need a smaller brush. I can kind of like get in there and pop out. There's not a lot on this one. It's a lot of little small details, but I can get in there and some of it, pop it out a little bit with these bigger chunks. Okay, and then kind of work with it that way. And then you go back to your standard mode. Convert it. Get rid of the sculpting tag as soon as you can. Because it sucks up memory. And then delete the sculpting version. You can get rid of that extra piece, connect, delete. Connect plus delete. And now I've kind of like simplified it down, and like I said, it'll catch light. It'll be better than just sticking a picture on something. But you gotta the resources that I think I have the best graphics to do for this type of thing. I should have done a better internet search. And it'll take you. The main thing is a grayscale file for the bump map. If you can't find anything but a color file, it's going to come out grainy and scratchy. Like this was derived from the color file. And you'll need a program like Photoshop to clean it up and make it smoother and maybe black and white. So you really need to just. And you can drop a color picture in the the bump map, but it's not going to work very well. So you want to look for grayscale, black and white stuff to put in your bump map, and you want to look for a separate texture or a similar texture, or something new for the color. And you can get some pretty interesting stuff there that will look like, weathered ruins. If you have a good crispy graphic, you can make it look brand spanking new if you wanted to. Now, how do we do that in ZBrush? ZBrush will do it as well. So with ZBrush, clear the screen. You need something to put it on, so I would suggest getting like, a cube or a cylinder or something. And you're going to want to divide that a few times over here. But what did I do? I made a big mistake. When I'm just painting in 3D now. So Command N, clear screen. You gotta go get it. And then you gotta click on Edit. And then you gotta go over here to make Polymesh 3D in your tool palette. Then you can go down to where it says Geometry and hit Divide a couple of times to give it more geometry. Divide, right there, divide. And then if you want to get rid of it kind of saves the older stuff. You can see it's slowing down. I had to do the color wheel of doom. You could delete the lower, and that gets rid of the older version. This is a little bulky, so I'm going to use my scale tool and use the slider. Scale it down. Alright, and then I kind of made it a little concave, which I don't like, but we'll just deal with it. Now, to get that graphic in there, you gotta be on draw mode. You have to go to your stroke and put it on drag rectangle. It's usually on dots, or possibly freehand if you were just doing normal brushing. And you want to kind of be on the standard brush. So if you're like, well, where's that? It should be up here in the recent brushes, but you could go to S and find standard. Okay. And then you're going to go to what's called the alpha. Usually it's off, but the alpha lets you bring in patterns and stuff, sort of like masks. And you just have to go to import down here and go get your black and white copy. This will take Photoshop files, it'll take JPEG, it'll take TIFF. I don't know what else it takes, if it takes PNG or not. You could experiment. It does not take those web NPG or whatever. Those are some weird graphic format that popped up a few years ago for the web. And all the graphic softwares hate them. So, and you have to convert them and all this, so the pain in the ass. So try to find JPEGs or TIFFs. Or if you have Photoshop, you can do Photoshop files. And so we go ahead and hit open. This one has some grayscale gradients on it, so it has some shading, and that will come out a little bit grainy or scratchy. And you have to change your focal shift and all that kind of stuff to and your brush size to match, and you want to be on add. You could do subtract, expose, and then your intensity. And then you basically need to target it and drag, and you can rotate it around. Something like that, something like that. See, where you click down matters to kind of center it. And it treats it like a shape, so you can rotate around. I don't know, for some reason it usually comes in upside down. I don't really understand why that is, but it does. And you can see everywhere there was grayscale, it looks like the stone would be weathered. Let's do another one. So this one's actually easier to do. Go to alpha, import. We'll get something easier like the Fleur. Not that that would be good for mythology. I don't think a Fleur was around then, but drag rectangle standard, and something that you're on edit, make polymesh 3D, and you divide it a few times under geometry. Instant cool embossing. Now if I wanted to like use this in Cinnamon 4D, whoops, I didn't mean to click off. You have to go over to export right there in the tool palette. You're exporting it as an OBJ, which is always reminds me of orange juice for some reason, but it's an object file, and you give it a name, otherwise it names it for you with some ridiculously absurd, categorizing. So you hit save, and you go back to Cinnamon where you're building your runes, and file open. I thought I saved it in this folder. Didn't I? Oh, there it is. That's not an OBJ file, though. Let me do it again. I forgot where I forgot it's hard drive. We'll go to export. Did something weird trying to merge. Crap. Alright. I think I crashed it. Ignore that part of the lesson, kids. Let's open it again. Make a new and improved new one. Review time. So go over to your click on Lightbox, go over to your tool here, the little golden S thingy, and get your object. Use a cube this time. Go to, click on edit right away, make polymesh 3D right there, here, and then go to geometry, divide. You got to get that mesh in there. So it has the resolution to go get your alpha. Go to drag rectangle, be on standard, go to alpha, import in your thingy. I'm going to do that one this time. And change if your brush is too small or your resolution is too low, it'll get grainy like that. I might have to divide it a few more times. And then we'll get the draw size. And now, since I divided it plenty, it's coming in better. You got to get really perfectly centered. And then also make sure you're on add, but you could do subtract depending on and your intensity, and it will do it more. Okay, so depending on what's black and what's white, you might go add or subtract and reverse it, and like that came out pretty dope. And you can smooth this if it comes out too sharp. You have like a you can go to intensity and hold down your shift key and smoothen things up if you need to. But let's try to do that export again. So export as an OBJ, we'll call it Greek thing, and we'll we'll send it to that untitled folder. And then we'll leave it there. Oops. Where's Cinema? There it is. And then Cinema 4D open. Greek thing. Oh, gosh, why is it coming in? I'm doing something wrong. Let's figure this out. Let's try to save the file. Oh, it's still not, I have to wait for it to export all the way. You gotta wait for this timer up here to time out. Time out. Looks like we got another 50 seconds or something. It's this little golden bar right there. I didn't wait for it to finish, that's why it didn't. It came out as a zzz instead of an OBJ. So let's wait. Almost done. So I'm not sure which one you'd want to do it in. I mean, personally, I'd probably want to do it in ZBrush and then export it as an OBJ. Even though it's a pain in the ass for this to go, it's because of how many times I divided it. I could always do what's called Z-Remesher, but I don't think I've shown you that yet, and remesh it so that it's smaller, maybe, and still has its detail, and I can probably export it quicker. All right, let's see if that finished. Nope, it still is. Let's try and export it again, I guess. We do have, I don't think you could, oh, it's still doing it. No wonder. Yeah, I don't want to save it. I want to export it. Try doing that again. I might just be jumping the gun and being impatient. It's never taken that long before, though. Well, oh, there it is. It took, I don't know why it took that long. It might be because I had such a high mesh on it, so let that be a lesson. And then we bring it in. Let's hope we didn't crash. Oh, there it is. I don't know why it defaults to a black material, but ta-da! Very nice. So I did it correctly. I just haven't done it in a while, so sorry. My apologies if I confused you. I haven't done that in a while. It's been probably about a year since I screwed around with that. But basically, that's it. And now I have a cool embossing that I can put in my architecture of a symbol or something for that mythology character. And I'll see you guys in class.